Okay, this is all the crap that's been coming out of it. It's got to be stop leak. Anyway, this goes on here, and then there's a snap ring goes in that groove. So that snap ring's somewhere inside there. Anyway, I have steamed the crap out of it. I'm probably gonna have to take it apart. There's just no two ways about it. Mr. Griff's out here helping me. It's starting to rain. So I've taken a light and I've looked in here and down through there, and there's just so much of that stuff caked in there. It's got to come apart. I hate to do that. Somebody has put a new radiator in here, and they painted the top and bottom tanks. They did a good job. All new bolts. Doesn't leak top or bottom. And then this is my guess. Tell me if I'm wrong. So before they replaced the radiator, they probably had one that leaked like a sieve, and they just kept dumping stop leak in it. And I'm sure the oil coolers are full of it. My experience with stop leak and Killdozer years ago when I first had it, I used tons of that stuff in there. And when I finally overhauled the engine, it all ends up in that bonnet before the transmission cooler, and it'll get like that thick in there because the water comes around from the pump and goes to that. Now, the other thing I have to be concerned about with that much junk in there is the after cooler. How plugged is it? Am I going to be taking it out? Most definitely I'll take the pipes off and have a look in it, but I may have to take it out and steam it out, or have somebody boil it or whatever and see if they can get that stuff out. But I've blown that stuff out here to try to get rid of it, and it's just a real sticky goo. Anyway, last thing I did with the steam cleaner was blasted the concrete off here and washed some of the dirt off the shop that I'd got all over it from steam cleaning the radiator. And I went to pick up my wand again to clean this off, and the nozzle was gone out of it. And I'm like, how could I possibly have not heard or seen it blow the nozzle off the end? And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I didn't stick that in that hole again. I know that. I've thought, well, maybe it fell off inside the radiator. Anyway, can't find it anywhere. One of those things that make you go, Anyway, sometimes I sit down and I look at all the work I got to do, and it's kind of almost depressing. When I got Killdozer, it was awful, just awful. And I worked my ass off to make it what it is today. But I'm older now. My get up and goes got up and went. Oh, but I got to get this done. I could really use it. So it's just time. You just got to keep going at it. You got to stick with it and stay busy and accomplish things. So, but my deal is, I could just fix it and put it to work the way it looks, all ugly and everything, but I can't stand to do that. When I redid Killdozer, I mean, I had the engine out, I totally repainted that. I painted the inside here, everything. Sandblasted the insides of the belly pans, the outsides, painted them, blasted the track, everything. Got a fresh coat of paint, primer. And it makes them nice. And then, you know, you go through and you fix everything and they run for 20 years. Okay, do you think this possibly had an overheating problem? Look at that stuff. Holy moly. Plugged up tubes everywhere. Good Lord, look at that. Gaskets were sure on good. I hate that. I see green cement. Maybe not. These were one-piece gaskets. No puzzle pieces. That's awesome. They didn't use any silicone. Nothing. Now, I just gotta keep this from tipping over. Put it there. Then fold some cardboard under it here, maybe. That's pathetic, isn't it? Look at that. Stop leak, that's what it'll do. I guarantee you my oil coolers are plugged with it. Probably my after cooler. The block's got it in it. I'll bet money. Look at that shit. Holy moly. That's awful. I bet money I'm gonna end up taking the coolers off, and then there's plates over the block, and you can get in there and clean around the liners in the block. Otherwise that shit ain't never coming out. If you don't get it out, it's just gonna plug things again. Yummy. Well, steam cleaner just ran out of gas. Clean you off here. So I've still got plugged up tubes, as you can see, full of that stuff. About all I can do is, one thing I've used in the past to rot them out is I get an old dipstick, a big long one, run it through there, I may have to get out the air gun and blow through them, see if I can get the chunks out and then steam it again, but what a mess. Anyway, I sprayed some gasket remover on this. We'll see if that starts to get it soaked loose and the steam cleaner can take it off. When I put radiators together, I put a real super thin bead of silicone on both sides of the gasket, and if you ever go to take it apart again, they just come apart super easy, and you can steam off the residue and then take a hand Scotch-Brite pad and go over everything, clean the guck off. Then you take alcohol, not ether, alcohol to all the surfaces, gets all the oil and everything off. That way the silicone sticks perfect. But you've got to be careful. Super thin bead, you don't want that stuff going in or it'll plug tubes. Anyway, my radiator cap goes on crooked, so I think this bolt's bent. I don't know, I'll have to steam this all off and see if I can get this loose or screw the stud out and replace it. But as corroded as that is, I should probably see if I can get it undone. That's not going to be fun. You sure don't want to mess those holes up, or you'll be looking for another tank. Anyway, tank's interesting because it has these two holes in it. I do not know what they're for. What a mess. I may get out some muriatic acid and spray the inside of that good to eat all the crap off of it, all the chunks. Alright, I think I've got that pretty well cleaned out. I'll have to run a rod down through some of those. I was still seeing some rubbery stuff coming out. So I got that mess cleaned up. Frank sent me home from Oklahoma with a jug of his moonshine. I didn't dare drink it, but boy, that stuff takes rust and paint off like you can't believe. So thanks for the rust remover, Frank. Had skull and crossbones on it, so I knew better than to drink it. Anyway, it's time for Jeff to go out and run a load of water, so I don't know if I'll clean my stuff up or not. I don't know if it's gonna rain. I better check the weather, but I guess if it is, I'm gonna have to clean my tools up. It's the one thing I hate to do, is clean up tools. Who likes cleaning up tools? Raise your hand. Come on. Get them up in the air, you sons of... Yep. Oh, telephone. Mrs. Anderson.